Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 25 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, round 9. And here is the awesome sketch. It is so cool with the hexagons and one picture and some embellishments. And this sketch is by Jessie B Scrapbooking, and you can find her link below in the group of hops, people that are on this hop. And so check her out. She's got some really great layouts. And the prompt for Dottie about flair is Christmas. There are a lot of people on the hop below who on Christmas, or on the 25th of every month, will scrapbook a Christmas layout. So I'm wanting to use my scraps. This is my Christmas paper scraps. It's random, not necessarily from collections, stuff that I have acquired. So I did use my scraps to go ahead and use it on my Cricut and cut out 7 2.5-inch hexagons. And that is from the flat side to flat side width. And I have a couple of torn scraps and some papers to use for my solids and the background paper. And then I have the Simple Stories Quarantined. I might bring, well, I do bring a couple of things from that in, but not much. And then this little elf that I cut out on my old school Cricut and paper pieced together. And then I have the Studio 18 gemstones. And then these thickers that I don't use. I did pull them out because I thought I might, but I did not. And then a lot of little Mrs. Grossman's stickers. I use some. And then these are Creative Memories, and I don't use those either. And then I have 3 different flair that I brought out. These are Christmas or wintry, and I thought one of those might work, but one's mittens, one's snowflakes, which doesn't fit, and the one that is the Christmas trees or trees is gray, and that didn't work color-wise, so I do pull a flair in. But so here's all my goodies in this great sketch, so let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did was cut down that green, and that is a thin green paper. Came out of a Paper Studios paper kit of just different textured colors. So it's all very thin paper, but it looks like there's some kind of a texture, wood grain or something in the paper. It's hard to see. And I cut it down to 10.5 by 10.5 because I wanted a kind of a thick border. In the sketch, there's a pretty thick looking border. I don't know if it's this thick, but I wanted it to be, pretty proportioned. A big proportion. Sorry, guys. And so I also cut in black, these hexagons on my Cricut, and I cut them 1/4 inch wider than the pattern paper so that they could be matted, because I really love the look of that. And it kind of looks like that is how the sketch is. I can't tell for sure because, like I said, I think it's like pencil drawn, which is super cool. I do not have that skill, and I don't know how she drew hexagons like that because mine would look like really odd circles. So I just use my tape runner and tack these down pretty evenly for myself, which is, pretty good. And you'll notice maybe from the sketch, there are the pointy side of the hexagon is going up and down. And I was going to do that. However, when I cut these, the paper that has those cars on it with the Christmas tree, they were just barely tall enough to go this direction. And since they are a directional, I really couldn't put the cars going up and down. That would have looked crazy. So I went ahead and just turned them, and that's fine. I love the way that it looks. It's just a little bit different than the sketch. So I really love this, and it's so colorful, and it just stands out. And let's see, those top 3 papers, the polka dot, the stripe, and then the little mini squares, those came from the same collection. They were like these mini things that came in a book, like a box full of stuff. I couldn't even tell you from where. But the other, the 2 colors in the middle came from that textured paper. And then the Christmas tree on the car, this candy canes, those 2 came from something completely different. Like one's an American Crafts and one is Hoppy Loppy Paper Studio. So none of it really goes together. The reds are a little bit different, but I don't care because it's like there's just a plethora of red tints and shades, and I'm really perfectly fine with that. And you might not be able to tell as well in here, the paper where the car is almost like an off-white, and I'm okay with that too. I kept it further away from the whites on purpose. And the little elf girl who goes on there right above that paper, she is like an off-white color. And so it's fine. I think that it's fine. I don't care to blend white and off-white or my metals. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. So I cut my picture down as best as I could, and I popped it up on foam so it would have some dimension on this page, because there wasn't, other than my flare at the time, the only other dimension I knew I was going to have was the little Studio 18 gemstone word Mary, and that was if it was going to fit. So I just go through and tack down a couple of these hexagons in places where they're coming up, and because I'm about to start embellishing, and I don't like go over the top embellish. In the sketch, the title is across that lower hexagon, and I'm not going to do that, but I decide that I want to put my little elf girl on here first. And I'm going to have her down at the bottom of that picture. I don't know how well you can tell, but when I took this picture of my mom, I was standing at the doorway and she was at the end of her hallway, so that we were more than 6 feet apart. We were both wearing masks. My kids were behind me also wearing masks, and maybe even my husband. I can't even remember. And she was opening actually a scrapbook, I believe, that I had created for her that year, and I wanted to be there when she opened it, but obviously because of COVID, we were being super cautious. So, but there is the bag that I gave her gifts in, like it's like a tote bag, is hanging open, and it's like the handle's flapping around, and so I didn't really want that in there. So I covered her up with this elf and put some foam under her legs and part of her head so she would not dip down. And I really love the way that turned out. And now I am working on, I think, getting the title down. This gemstone actually was very sticky, worked just fine, but it was, you got to peel it up a little at a time. Oh, I pulled my flare out and found this line. It's like a light green stripe, and it's the same green that's in that striped paper up there. So because I wanted to bring that color down the page, I went ahead and decided that the flare would go down at the bottom. So now that I have all of that situated, I start pulling all of my other little goodies and bits over here. And these little things came from Creative Memories. I have no clue where I got them. I've had some Creative Memory stuff for a long time, but it's just a totally different shade of red than any shade I already have on here. And I just thought, I already have like 5 shades of red, maybe 6, including my mom's sweater. So I thought I would just not use those. Plus the one doesn't really look like a present. You have to look at it really carefully. So I decided that I was going to take, you can see where I have that little sticker of the candy cane tucked behind the candy cane paper. I have those 2 3D embellishments with the candy canes. Those are not tacked down, but they pretty much are going to stay right where they are right now. And I am going to get the, let's see, what is it that what am I doing now, you all? Oh, I realized that in the sketch, there's some torn spots on the top and bottom of the sketch. And I thought, oh, that'll be perfect for these spaces, because there's nothing up in this top right corner or the bottom left, really. And so it just gives it a little texture and just some, differentials. And also, if I had thought about it and noticed it beforehand, I probably would have inked and distressed that. But being on that white paper, I didn't want to do that and risk getting big smears of ink on my paper. So I have that word Mary down there. It took me a minute to get that down just because it's long and it's all attached. And so, but it went down maybe a little crooked. It's fine. But there's a banner in the sketch, and I wanted to get that on there, but I decided to put it on here to where the word Mary is kind of sitting on it. So it's a little piece of Hobby Lobby paper, and it has presents all over it. And I thought, well, that's perfect because that's what we were doing, taking presents to my mom. And it was just a little piece of scrap that I had, literally this size. I cut maybe an inch off of the end and then just made it a banner and tucked it up. I lifted the Y, the end of the Y, so that I could put it right underneath the ERR. And then I don't know if I've already added this or not, so I'm not going to spoil anything. I get these Miss Grossman's trees. I tuck one underneath the flare and then put a couple other ones over there. You cannot see them very well from here. Like, I can see it right now, but it's not, bam in your face. It's got little decorations and ornaments and stuff on it, so you can see it better in person. But they are there, and they just kind of sitting on top of where the word Mary is. So I put my fun foam in there underneath my the Dotty Bot flare, and tack that down with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And on this Miss Grossman's, it has the little trees. There's these like little swirly bits and like stars and stuff. So I just put those down in 2 different places, at the top right and the bottom left, and just like a 3, thing of cluster, like I would do with like a Nuvo drop or an enamel dot or something like that. And then I decided I want to bring 3 more of these little trees up here on top of this hexagon. And so I pretty much it's not the same trees because every other one of the little sheets is different. I was thinking that there was another banner at the top of this page, so I thought I'd put that Santa's sleigh on top of it. But there is not another banner, and I didn't really think it needed it, especially after I did that tearing. So I have this bow, and I was going to put it down here next to the word Mary, and decided that it was, once again, a totally different color red, and I didn't want to add another color of red. So I pulled this yellow one off, and I put it down on top of the word quarantine, which I pulled off my Simple Stories quarantined sticker sheet. And so the official title of this layout is Mary Quarantine, because while she was not officially in quarantine because she was exposed or had COVID or anything like that, we were all in lockdown and, quarantine. And I just thought it would be, I labeled my layout that's similar to, not the layout, but this picture that I documented before, or one like it. I think I called it COVID Christmas. So I don't want to do that again, even though that's going in my Christmas book and this is going in my 2020 book. I just thought that I would add something a little different, but still bring in the fact that it was, a pandemic, because my mother would not be standing there in a mask. Now, because she's standing in a mask, I almost take that mask right there and close to my left thumb. I was going to take that off and put it on the layout somewhere. I was going to tuck it somewhere, but it's like a light blue teal color, and there is none of that on this layout, not a stitch. So I just wasn't going to do that. Okay, pardon me, her slippers are probably that color blue, but I wasn't bringing in a mask because of that. So I did pull this online shopping off, and while I didn't do a whole lot of online shopping for her since I created her scrapbook, that was one thing that we did quite a bit of in the year 2020 and 2021 for that matter. So I pulled 3 more words off of my small talk, and I was going to lay one of them right here at, between the 2. And the first one I put down is too long, and it's going to come over onto the white, and I don't want that. And then I was going to put the other ones up there, but that hexagon is white, so it would have disappeared into it. So the one up in the middle says live every day with intention. And then I put this longer one down here on the bottom that says the impossible is often the untried. And then above that says hold on tight to your dream. And spending Christmas with my mom, that's not necessarily a dream. It's just what I wanted. And so while we were like FaceTiming, when the kids and I and my sister and her kids opened their presents, it just isn't the same. So being able to be there and watch her open her presents was, special. And the impossible is often the untried, I thought was, they say you can't be together, but we found a way to do it and be safe. So we, cleaned everything. I wrapped all her presents, put them in a bag, put it in my car, took it to her house. She left it alone for a handful of days. And then on Christmas, I went over there and stood outside the door while she unwrapped her presents. We were really creative this year, or that during 2020, for ways to stay together. So the other thing I did was pull out these Ranger enamel accents, and the black one is called Black Tie, and the white is called Glacier White, and I just added 3 clusters of those around the page. So here's the sketch, and I'm going to show you some close-ups. Please, please, please go down in the description box and hop around. Oh, I added that little bow there. I forgot to tell you that. Just hop around and watch all these videos of some of the most amazing scrappers you're going to find. They create some of the most interesting things. They take these sketches and do things with them I just would not have even thought of. So I hope you'll do that. I would love for you to comment below, like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you have, I really appreciate it. I am really enjoying sharing my work of art with you all, and hope you all will share yours with me. Have a great day and happy scrapping.